Welcome back in the spirit of pride, ongoingly. And I hope that it's obvious and that I don't have to say anything. I hope that it's obvious that I'm queer and I don't need to disclose that it's just plainly obvious to see. We're going to do 5 minutes of reading aloud from this short story. Continued from last week. Ellen, she said. Kel, I said. You know the oak on Portland Place? She asked. Sunday evening. You should come. And then the lorry moved and she nodded at me and took off down a side street. I wondered for the rest of the week whether or not I should go to the oak. Maybe this was all just blatant absurdity and I was conning myself on to think that there was anything going on here. That this person had looked at me meaningfully. But then, even if all she wanted was for me to hang out with other cyclists, wouldn't that be worth going anyway? I considered briefly, optimistically, then discarded the thought that she might have been coming on to me. I hadn't got that vibe, unfortunately. So yeah, I went to the Oak that Sunday. I spent most of the ride there freaking out about the whole gender pronouns thing. I hate coming out, but if I don't, I get read a certain way. And if I do, there's always the risk that I say my pronouns and it turns out that I'm introducing myself to transphobic shitheads. But the reason I knew the Oak already was that it had bloody great big pride flags outside the windows. And I had my bike. If I needed to leave, I could just do it. I was trying to be more confident, more sure in myself, in my sense of who I was. I would damn well introduce myself like that. I deliberately slowed for the lights on the way over, deliberately put a foot down. I didn't want to wonder if this thing that surely had to be imaginary, was affecting how these particular people reacted to me. I didn't want to risk it changing after. When I got there, the racks outside the pub were festooned with bikes. I had to lock up to some railings down the way. I took it as a good sign. I saw Ellen as soon as I walked into the place. Those pink and black braids, the light shining off her dark skin. She was in the corner by the bar. I swallowed hard and walked over. Oh, hey, awesome, you came. She stuck out the hand that wasn't holding her beer, and cautiously I took it. Like I said before, I'm Ellen. She pronouns. I felt a surge of relief, overwhelming to the point that my knees shook. Kel, they pronouns. She smiled at me and turned to introduce me to the other two people standing with her. Kara and Flora, both she. I went to get myself a pint and came back to find Kara in the middle of a story about some dick in a Beamer who had yelled at her when she was cycling over here. Relatable. And then inevitably I find myself wondering, are they being a shit because I'm a woman, because I'm a cyclist, or because I'm trans? Embrace the power of and, Flora said, dry as bone, and all of us laughed. That laughter you get when you all know the score. I've rarely settled into a group so fast. It was an evening of connection, of shared experience. And at the end, as the staff were calling time in the bar, Ellen looked over to me. Hey, Kel, want to come for a ride with us? She grinned, slightly sideways. Evening's a good time for it. My blood sang. I nodded. Kara led, away from the Oak and out along the main road until Ellen shouted to her, When are you going to call it? We passed through a set of traffic lights. Now, Kara said, and something crackled between the four of us. Ellen gestured me to ride beside her, two abreast behind Kara and Flora. Easier to keep together this way, she said. Kara knew what she was about. We went through the first set of lights on green, accelerated to catch the next ones, then slowed so that by the time we reached set 3, they'd gone from red to red and amber, and we could sail straight through. Set 4 went red as we rode up towards them, and I thought we'd lost it until Kara signaled left and dove down a side street. Now we were winding our way through the back streets, swift but steady, Kara calling, Clear, as she made each turn. I couldn't stop myself from grinning as that feeling, the feeling of balancing on something perfect, spread through my body. From the look on Ellen's face when I glanced over at her, it was clear that she felt it too. To Mare Street, Kara called back to us and rode on. She got us all the way to Mare Street without a single stop, and the wild joy was rising in my blood as I followed her and Flora into a deserted car park outside what looked like a doctor's surgery, and we all stopped. I nearly fell over as my foot touched the floor, the shock zinging through me and tingling in my teeth. I couldn't not believe it anymore. Not with the three of them here with me sharing it. Not when I felt it that strongly. Woo! Kara put her head back and whooped at the night sky. That should see me through tomorrow, Flora said. Ellen was looking at me, exuberant and just slightly questioning. I nodded back at her, and her grin spread wider. It's pretty good, huh? We all grinned at each other like loons, like moons, like cyclists. Welcome to the club, Ellen said, and she hugged me. All right, that's it for today. I'll read some more from this lovely short story the next time I have a chance. Thanks for tuning in.